It is officially October, the only month where all 4 major professional sports leagues have meaningful games, which is exciting for people like me. This is yet another episode of the 4 Ps, and first and foremost, Happy New Year to the Jewish people who celebrate. May you have a healthy, blessed year ahead. You've also got one more week to get some good sinning in before you can repent and get that fresh blank slate to start over. So to me, I see this as a good opportunity to just really do some damage. Speaking of holidays, Halloween kicks off a 2-month holiday season run through Thanksgiving and Christmas into New Year's. Now, for Halloween, my family already has 3/4 of our costumes all lined up, including Sydney, the youngest, who has 3 or 4 costume options and might just wear all 4 that night with some outfit changes. The plus side of that, she can change costumes and go back to the same houses to get even more candy in disguise. This kid is genius. And speaking of spooky and creepy, last week was advertising week in New York. And this week, I am actually on my way to the A&A Masters Conference in Orlando with many of the best marketers in the business, many themes, many conversations, so many smart people. It makes my brain hurt, but in a good way. Now, we talked last week at Advertising Week more and more about how brands, now non-endemic brands, can and should be getting involved in partnerships and activations around gaming and esports. This was a prevalent topic, and there were 2 huge events here in the Northeast this week. So many brands that might not be obvious partners can and should be thinking about this. We call those the non-endemic brands if they're not actually gaming platforms or video game companies. In a similar way that brands activate in college and professional sports. Esports has passionate, engaged audiences who, while skeptical of advertising, are also increasingly loyal to brands that provide value. This was so apparent and obvious at ESL 1 in Brooklyn and the Overwatch League Championships in Philly this past weekend. Strong brand presences, a lot of people were there, but so much potential for more. And within our network, my company's network, we were the first and are the biggest gaming and esports agency in the world. So if you're curious about what this is all about, or more importantly, how to get involved, you know where to find me. Last week, I talked a little bit about the back pain and issues that I've been having, and it actually got to a point where after 3 weeks, it wasn't getting any better, so I made an appointment with an orthopedist who asked good questions, as doctors do, looked at x-rays, and diagnosed me. But then afterwards told me something interesting. There's nothing I can do for at least 3 more weeks for you, he said. I was like, what? Apparently, for the insurance company, they need me to be in pain for 6 weeks before they can authorize official treatment and next steps, because there wasn't like an emergent injury. It's just a deteriorating problem. And the doctor specifically said, I know what's wrong with you. I want to give you these injections and all this stuff, but I can't. And they won't let you do any of this until you've been in pain for 6 weeks. That is an absurdity. And it's just one more thing that proves that our health system is ridiculous. Of course, he'll also tell me one other thing that I didn't love, that this is an old man problem and expect to get more of them. Maybe Halloween season, but it's also impeachment season. Now, the last week has been ridiculous in terms of just news and developments, and in some cases beyond even credible belief that some of this stuff is going on. But there are 3 types of people in this camp for impeachment. One are Americans who believe that Trump and his administration should be subjected to the full process, right? Investigated, tried, and prosecuted, no matter the political fallout. The risk is that it may push independents away from voting for the Democratic candidate in 2020. Second, Americans who believe that Trump should be investigated and the facts should be revealed, but maybe not fully pushed at the risk of putting the 2020 election in jeopardy whatsoever, unless there is an overwhelming, incontrovertible amount of evidence. And then third, the Trump loyalists who believe that he's being unfairly accused. No matter what information will come out, they believe it is fabricated, falsified, irrelevant, whatever. They believe the media and the courts and the Congress, the intelligence community, are all wrong and must be discredited. They are the new parties of opposition, so that the only credible information we should believe becomes that of the White House and this president. Now, my take, impeached but not convicted may be the most likely outcome here, and that's risky, right? But if the evidence is truly there and not questionable, then go all in. Prove it, expose it, push it. But if it's unclear or a stretch where the average American will struggle to either understand or see, then I fall in that second camp. Don't do anything to bolster or solidify the Trump base by pushing independents into his camp. That is the worst possible scenario. So even more fearful to me than a Pence presidency. Gah! I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. And last but not least today, the practical. Did you know that I'm on Twitter? You can find me at MWorst. And after approximately 10 years of my directly asking, pestering, begging people at Twitter, from the bottom to the middle to the almost top, to invest in improving lists as a feature within Twitter, both online and off in the app, they finally added a bit more supporting functionality, specifically the ability to toggle through selected choice of up to 4 lists. Now, I wish you could do this for an unlimited amount of lists, but I'll take it for now. Lists are, for me, the key to Twitter, but one of the most underrated tools. Being able to sort and filter people, whether it's friends or news outlets, coworkers, clients, celebrities, topical experts, sports teams that you follow, and even politicians. Doing that in lists makes Twitter far more viable, far more valuable. It filters out the crap and creates relevant threads. So when you're in the mood for a certain idea or topic, if you're watching an NBA game and you only want to see the NBA players or reporters or fans within your area of interest, that's super critical. Now, yes, it takes some time to set up. I've been curating and updating my own lists for like 12 to 13 years, adding people, removing people based on that topic. But it's the number one reason why Twitter is my number one social platform of choice. And for everyone on their way to Orlando this week, see you at the ANA. Save me a drink, although I shouldn't be mixing drink with painkillers, although that could be more fun.